Sis. Younger brother. This no. Dang, I don't know the meaning. That's my sister. That Gigi. This is your younger sister. Mimi. Yeah, picture. Salvia. Oh my gosh, we got the same thing. Wow. I should know what that says. Oh, it says my name. This is a she. Jan. It's a man. It's so hot in this classroom. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I'm stupid. I gotta be. This quiz. I gotta be. That's my only one. In my room in my house. Yeah, well, they're mine. And I forgot having this.
All right, Postman, we are going to look at lesson 2, group 2, vocab words. Before we do that, you should have gotten back the rubric for your oral for lesson 1 and also the writing test that you guys did. Most of you guys did an incredibly good job. Like, seriously, incredibly good job. A lot of you just did really, really, really excellent work. If for some reason that wasn't you, don't worry about it. Remember, it is retakeable, right? What you need to do, you should know at this point, our first job is learn vocabulary words, right? Because you have to know vocabulary words in order to know how to string them together. The second job is to learn the word order in which to string things together to do the different kinds of tasks that we're learning how to do. And we learn how to ask about simple occupations and ask about nationalities in the first lesson, etc. So you may need to go back and work on shoring up your mastery of vocabulary words. You may need to go back and practice writing, which probably if you didn't do very well on the writing part of the test, it's because you didn't really do the writing practice that I asked you to do. Believe it or not, it's all structured very carefully. If you actually do what I ask you to do, you are very likely to learn what I want you to learn, and you will get an A. So if you didn't do that the first time around, no worries. Go back, do the practice, come back and see me, retake. Okay? Anybody have questions about anything you got back? Alrighty then, let's talk about lesson 2, group 2. Lesson 2, group 2 starts with Shay, which we started using last class. Remember, you were asking each other about your family photographs, and you were saying, just sure, Shay, this is who, right? So Shay has a radical on the left-hand side that should be familiar to you. What is it? Yeah, what is the I thingy?
Ching.
It is in Ching. What is it? You're on the right track. It's the speech radical, okay? It's the speech radical. The piece on the right, this is the first time that we're seeing it. I just want to call your attention to the fact that the piece on the right kind of has two parts to it, right? It has a person radical, and then it has this thing. Okay? So make sure when you're writing it that you write it correctly, okay? This, like all these other ones, is going to be like Wang and Sheng and all of that, right? We go horizontal, horizontal. We do last horizontal before the vertical, and then we do last horizontal, right? This one happens to have 4 horizontal lines instead of 3. Please don't write it like, don't go like this. It's not, this piece isn't attached to the person. You see what I mean? It's the person and this 4 horizontal thing, okay? So Shay, who only difference between simplified and traditional is the speech radical. This should be familiar to you all. Hold on. Okay. Number 2 on our list is actually kind of 2 variations on one thing. Same in simplified and traditional. This is ta. And when you are speaking, there is no difference between ta, which means he, and ta, which means she. They are pronounced exactly the same way, T-A, flat tone. They're both written very similarly. What is that black element?
It's
Yeah.
It is yeah, exactly. It is yeah. When we add on the left-hand side a person radical, that becomes ta, which means he. And if we add a female radical, that becomes ta, which means she. And some of you might be interested to know that in China these days, sometimes people will write an X next to a ye, and that is a ta, which means they. It's kind of a gender-neutral pronoun. Okay?
Thank you.
But you need to learn just the ta and the ta, the he version and the she version. It means he, it also means him. But so you can see how, like, as we're going along in time, it gets a little bit easier to learn new characters because the new characters consist of elements that you've already seen, right? It's not as hard to learn them when you already know different parts. All right, so we have ta and ta, he and she. Next on our list, I'm going to show you arts. Whoops. No, Ardza in simplified. Ardza in traditional. Ardza means son. What is the blue character on the bottom? Right, that's the child radical. We've seen it in other characters. We saw it in Ming Zi, Zi. We saw it in Li Yao de Li, right? That Zi by itself means child. Actually, the R by itself also means child or son. Like not the one in the sky, but the son of the father, right? Simplified people, what does that character remind you of?
The 4.
Okay, it looks kind of like 8, right? Ba?
I was thinking in 4.
In 4. Oh, it's like inside the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Xiancheng Gesheng, totally. Bottom of Xiancheng Gesheng. Yep, we've totally seen that there. You're probably not going to get this one confused with a 4 or with Xiancheng Gexian. However, actually, we'll talk about it in a minute. You're going to get it confused. Traditional people or traditional person. Do I have more than one traditional person here? I know I have Jason. Nobody else is doing traditional characters? Okay, traditional person and other people just because you're curious. How many of you guys have been in contact with newborn babies? You know how newborn babies have that like soft open thing in the top of their head? Yep. You know what I'm talking about? It's called the fontanelle, right? That's a picture of the fontanelle. All right. So anyway, Ardza means son. Okay. So Ardza is son. When we put a nu in front of the R, it becomes daughter.
Why is it so fat?
It is the woman radical, except here it's not a radical. Here it's a Standalone character. It's a radical when it's an element in another, in a character, right? When it's in combination with other elements.
It was drawn
And
with
it's a
an
character when it
exclamation.
just stands by itself. So here it's just standing by itself. But you guys already know how to write that character because you've written it in lots of other characters. The way that animated version is weird to me. Do you see how the printed version, it doesn't, like the printed version doesn't, right, it doesn't cross through up here. This looks weird to me. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't need to do that. So don't bother doing that. Nu by itself means daughter. Nu is a new vowel sound for you guys. Okay. Remember we have A, E, I, O, and U, right? What does A sound like? E,
E,
usually E,
O,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is ooh, like ooh la la, right?
No.
But there's two U sounds.
Yeah.
There's another one, which when you're handwriting it, you can write it with an umlaut over it, and it becomes ooh. So you gotta say E with the inside of your mouth and ooh with the outside of your mouth.
I think of it as a happy face.
Ooh. Okay. When you are, and then that oo sound is the sound that U always makes if it's after a Q, a J, or an X. Okay, it's chu or ju or shu. But there are two other initial sounds, N and L. These are the only two that sometimes are nu and sometimes are nu. Nu and nu. Okay? So sometimes you have nu and sometimes you have nu. Sometimes you have lu and sometimes you have lu. This one is a nu. Okay? And here's a piece of information that you're going to need when you are writing on the computer. If you type NU, you will not find this character because this character is not nu, this character is nu. And in order to get that to come up on the computer, you must type ND. Okay?
Indeed.
All right, so anyway, Nuyar is daughter. Same as we had in Arsa, same Nu as we've had in Mama and Meme and Tite and all those other ones. Okay? Okay, moving on. Next up, we have yo, which is a super important verb.
Yo.
Yo has two meanings that you should be aware of. First of all, it means to have, as in I have a sister, I have a brother. Secondly, it means there is or there are. So if there is no subject in front of it, it just means there is. So if I say yo, iga lauscher, that means there is a teacher, there is one teacher, okay? So yo can mean to have, it can also mean there is. If you look at the top of it, it looks a whole lot like pung yo to yo, right? Same start as pung yo to yo, which looks like this. Except that instead of having a yo on the bottom, it has a, what is this thing on the bottom? Moon. Right, moon radical. Okay, so this one has a moon on the bottom. Yo is the verb to have, and it also means there is. All right, the thing about yo is that to make it negative, we cannot use who. We must use may, which is our next character. May means not in the sense of not to have. So if you do not have an older brother, you would say, well, may yo guga. Okay? Simplified and traditional are almost exactly the same, except that what looks to me on the simplified side like a capital letter, a cursive letter R on the top of the right-hand side turns into a kind of bends in the other direction in the traditional one. I don't know why they did that. The blue element is a new radical for you guys, but a super important radical. It is actually the water radical. And you should notice how it's written, okay? It's written down, down, up. So when you're drawing it, make sure you do that, down, down, up, okay? Then simplified people, you have like that cursive letter R, and on the bottom is a yo, like on the bottom of yo to yo.
Is that cursive R thing, is that one stroke?
It's two strokes. Yeah. it comes down on the left and then horizontal, vertical, like that. Okay? Yo is not
But
to have.
not short.
Yo is to have, or there it is. Hop, come on. Yeah, okay, so why is there water in there? Because that character also has an archaic meaning, which is to drown. And I guess if you drown, then there is no more you, right?
To end.
Okay, happy thoughts for Tuesday afternoon. Next on our list is Jia. Jia can mean home. It can also mean family. The blue part on the top we saw in Mingzi de Zi. Do you remember what that radical is? It is the roof radical.
Oh.
And so it's fitting that there should be a roof over your home. The piece on the bottom is an old way of writing pig. It's kind of a tricky piece, right? So make sure you start with that horizontal line that goes left to right. And then you've got a little short stubby one down to the left. And then you've got this longer, curvy, but mostly vertical one with a hook at the bottom. And then two more on the left, in from the right, down to the right. That's a pig. And so a pig under a roof makes me think about my house, which is kind of a pigsty. I don't know about you. Yeah.
Can I use the restroom?
Can you wait till I'm done introducing these two? Okay. All right, so Jia is family or home. What is Jia? My family, my home. We're going to be using it to talk about family. Come on, come on. Okay. Next up, we have T, which does not mean small table. It means how many.
Small table.
Whoa, why did it say it means small
It
table?
also means small table, but that's not the meaning.
Wait, what is it?
How many?
So,
Oh my gosh.
T is a question word. It means how many.
Yeah, how many
It is
items
spelled
have to drop?
J-I, but it sounds like you're saying O-G. Okay, like the letter G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Home.
Simplify people. What character are you likely to confuse this one with?
That
one
other
character.
one. That was like the
Need.
out of the board.
Everybody suddenly wants to change to simplified or into traditional characters?
No.
Not so much. Okay. It's not that, right? So R's and R, remember, looks like this. G looks like this. What else are you
Looks
gonna
like
confuse it
Wilson
with?
JoJo.
Joe. Do you see the difference?
Oh, dear.
Okay, the
Lord.
only difference is this is 9. This is how many. This is child.
Oh.
Okay? So pay
Yeah, China.
attention to those subtle differences.
If you traditional.
Traditional, you have two of these things. That thing is known as, it's like, by itself means tiny.
Kind of like
Right?
that.
So you make the two tinies first, and then you do the axe, right? This is the axe. Horizontal.
Horizontal, down,
Horizontal, and then most of the axe.
and then the little thing on the left.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and down.
Okay, I didn't even do that. Let's see if I can learn how to do that. Horizontal, down, and then the axe.
Wow.
All right, so G. How many, like me, Jia, Yo, G. Go to then. How many people are in your family?
Need
Wow.
Ninja. Something, something.
If
Ninja.
you have 2 of anything in your family, like 2 older brothers, 2 younger brothers, 2 older sisters, whatever, in order to talk about that 2, you're going to have to use Liang instead of R. R is 2 if you're counting ER, 三四五六. But if you are saying I have 2 of something, you must use Liang. Okay, so if you have 2 older brothers, you have Liang Ge Ge. If you have 2 younger sisters, you have Liang Ge Mei Mei. Notice that there are 2 people, especially for simplified people, right? You're going to make your, what I like to think of as kind of like a swing set. And then you have these 2 people, and they're just swinging on the swing set, right? So 2 of something is going to be Liang. Traditionally, you also have 2 people, but they're kind of walking away, they're backwards.
Like a heat on this transmission.
Don't go back. All right, last thing on this list is good.
Good.
Oh yeah, right. Isn't that like
Good. Have I confused you?
numerary?
All right, we talked just a little bit on
Adjunct?
Friday.
Good.
Guys, can you see what? We talked a little bit on Friday about measure words, right? I taught you zhang, which is a measure word for flat, square stuff like photographs, right? Yizhang, zhaopian. Ge is another measure word, and ge is the most common measure word. Ge is the measure word that you use with any kind of a person. So, 一个老师，一个妈妈，一个爸爸，一个弟弟，一个哥哥，一个姐姐，一个学生。This ge can be used for pretty much anything. But lots of different nouns have more specific measure words, and when there's a more specific measure word, it's better to use that other one. For example, with 照片, we don't say 一个照片, we say 一张照片. Okay, we're going to talk a little more about measure words in a little bit. Simplified people, notice that you have a person on the top there, right? It's a ren, it has two strokes in that upward facing thing. And then a vertical stroke down to the middle. Traditional, you've got a person on the left, got an enclosure and a 10 and a mouth.
You can see it here. Yeah. To a couple. And
All right, looks like everybody already has your dry erase marker out. If you don't have your dry erase marker, please grab one. We're going to practice writing these.
You have to go right. You
right here.
First up is G. Please write your G, and then write it again, and then write it again, and then write it again, and then write it again. Erase it so you can write it without remembering it. Without looking at it. So you can write it without remembering it.
Can I use
Yes, now you can go. Go quick. Come back quick,
Okay,
and then practice writing.
I mean,
Good. Yeah, Charlie, just make that a little bit more vertical time. Sorry, horizontal is what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this. That one's good.
Okay.
You see what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
a little bit longer in the
Oh,
horizontal.
okay. That makes sense. Oh, yeah. I can't.
Yeah. And it is just really. Yeah.
Is it too low?
So you go, wow, that's very good.
Yeah. That is kind of like what
Yeah, it's like a tsunami wave.
more horizontal. All right, what does G mean?
I don't know.
It's the
It means how many?
Yeah.
Yeah, G, how many?
Home.
All right, got it. 请擦你的书，擦你的书，然后请写有。What does 有 mean? Means to have, or it means there is or there are.
What is the meaning?
Y-O-U, just like Li Yo to Yo. Yep, make sure it has an inward hook at the bottom of the, yep. O-C. Yo, yo, yo. Beautiful. Right,
Whoa,
erase
that's
it, cover it up, don't look
funny.
at it, see if you can remember how to write it.
What is?
It's true.
Beat that. That's a job.
All right, see if you can remember how to write T. Can you still write T?
That's the same.
G, as in,
As in how many? T.
I thought that was.
First one we did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Good, okay, 好。下页请写家。This one's kind of a tricky one. I want to see you do it a few times. 家. What is a 家? Yeah, home or family. Two to the left, and then in and down on the right. In from the upper right. Yeah, and down. Just
What? Oh, it's that.
What's that? What is separate? This. Is it separate? Oh wait, it's like it's that that is wait, no, it's like this.
Oh, so it goes like that.
it looks like
It looks like it's a big, one big streak. In the middle.
it looks like. Oh, that's why I show you the struggle. Yeah, this is easy.
Oh, oh, okay, I see what I see. That's cool.
Said how do you say?
Yes.
Like this.
Yes.
You can get a hang of it.
All right, Benjamin, can you still write yo? Yo, 你有这个吗？
This.
你有弟弟吗？
Yeah, I know it's not that. Yo.
This is
And if you can still write yo, can you still write T?
G.
Can you still write T? Can you still write T? Yep. Make sure you spend a little more time on it.
No.
All right, 同学们，现在请写他。What is 他？ Yeah, 他 means she or it means her.
This is a specific topic.
Make sure that this one goes
Yeah, I
down.
know that. No, right.
I remember the.
You know that.
I just want you to do it.
What is this?
Yeah, make sure your female radical though is 3 strokes, right? 1, 2.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just connected, I guess.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
Ta, when you finish writing your ta, you raise your ta and see if you can write jia.
Yeah.
Jia, you have to run. That's one way to sit, home or family. Live under a roof. Erase it, ready to get without looking at it.
That's too many.
You're right, yeah. All right,
It took me forever because the boys' back rooms upstairs were locked.
Really?
Yeah.
That's right.
Not really.
There are people breaking in there this morning.
If they want to stop it from happening, get rid of those doors.
Did somebody tell me what arson means? Sun, right?
Sun.
Good. Child. Yeah. And it's the sound element in this, right? Means that it's a.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just the sound there. You hear it actually. All right. Okay. Can you still write Tashi? Tashi or her? Can you still write Tashi or her?
Yeah.
Nice.
Almost forgot how to do yeah.
All right, good. Simplified people, this is the easiest one you have on the list.
It's an arrow.
It is like an arrow, except you got to draw a person on the top instead of a,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. 1, 2. Down, down.
It's an arrow. You just don't connect.
Good, it's a general measure word. We're gonna talk more about measure words in a minute, so you'll understand what it is. Oh, Gina,
What are you doing? Why is it?
there's more coming.
Why is the expo marker in it?
I posted.
All right, yeah, what does it mean? Two. It means two of something, right? Two people hanging from a bar on the simplified side. Yep, just make sure you draw them as people, right? So you do that first, and then you go person, person. Sure, can you still write ja? Ja, can you still write ja? Good. Ja is a roof on the top, right? And then a pig underneath?
No.
All right, it looks to me like not very many of us are getting the ja, so let's go back. Ja, right. Yep, ja.
Wait, you already.
Yeah, but we're redoing it because a bunch of people didn't
All
get
right, who's missing that sheets here? May?
May.
The thing that's tricky on this one is the water radical. I want to see you drawing your water radical correctly,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's a vertical radical. It comes down from the upper left, down, down, and then up. Yeah, you don't need to make it a check mark at the bottom. It just needs to come up from the bottom. No, up.
Why does that go?
Why does it have a check? A hook. It's just like if you were writing with a brush. That's sort of how it would be. And you can do it with a hook if you want to, but you don't have to. Like people just writing usually just go down.
I was like,
What have you done?
I'm like,
Wow, you had your earbud in? I can see the blue light. No, you're gonna break a string.
Like that's encouraging.
It won't break.
Well, if it does break, 15 of them will break.
It's not when you're using you.
I said like.
All right, this is Shama. This is your top, right? This is the top, that means D
Is that what you said?
or unknown.
Also, wait, why is there also symbol next to it?
Yes.
Because that's how you say top.
Oh yeah, right.
Because remember what she is?
Sure. Wow.
All right.
They're both tall.
You wrote the woman?
What is a Nyar?
It's a
Woman?
Daughter. Right.
No.
Hopefully none of you guys have one of these, but I have two. Oh, yeah, good Nyar.
What do you mean, hopefully?
Well, you're a little on the young side to have.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought you meant-
I'm
there.
hoping you don't ever have any. Hopefully someday, if you want daughters, you'll have them, but,
I thought she was saying like, hopefully you never have them.
I was very confused there. I was like, what? Excuse me?
All right.
Let's draw the
Last we
train.
have Shay. Ooh, right, Shay. Speech radical on the left, which starts on the top for simple play, actually for everybody. Dot first, right, and then go down from there. And then draw your person, and then draw your 4 horizontal line biggie.
Bow, bow, bow.
You have all wrong with the photo.
Yeah, sure. Don't you hate it when you explode into nothingness? Don't you hate it when you explode into nothingness?
I mean, if I explode into nothingness, then I don't really feel it.
Yeah, but it happens all the time.
Does it?
Yeah, to me.
Do you feel it?
It's called waking, going to sleep and waking up. Sucks.
All
So
right.
you're saying you don't want to sleep in?
No, I'm saying
And that is your lesson.
I'm saying I don't want to have to wake up.
2 vocab
I'm not saying I should die.
Please
But like, I mean, as in, I don't want to get up from my bed. That's what I mean. Because school is BORRING.
Boring?
Boring. Boring. No, my shirt is
All right, so let's talk about mentor words. First of all, if you have my dry erase markers, if you have my Bybon B, please put them back in the
Bybon
box. If you have my erasers, please gather up everybody from your table's erasers and put them in the box over there on the back counter.
Watch, I'm gonna make this one.
Wow.
How did I miss it? Stop.
What?
All right, Postman.
Oh my gosh, it's the word with the bow?
So, as I have told you a couple of times, do you remember you have 2 kind of big projects for the overall
Can I have
project
that
in learning Chinese? What are they? Word order is one of them, yes, and vocabulary
No,
is the
don't.
other, right? So we just worked on the vocabulary thing.
Stop. Give it back.
Now we're gonna talk about
Please.
word order stuff, okay? And one of the first things you need to be able to understand in lesson 2 is you need to understand what the heck is a measure word, okay? A measure word is a word that tells you something about the nature of the noun that they are referring to, okay? We use measure words in English from time to time. For example, if I say a cup of coffee, that cup is a measure word, okay? Because you could have a different kind of coffee, right? You have a bag of coffee. You have a bucket of coffee, right? You have a mug of coffee.
If
You can have a
anybody,
glass of water, or you could have a bottle of water, or you could have a pot of water, right? Those are measure words.
if you have a
Bottle,
bucket of
pot,
coffee, I'm so scared for you.
You can have a pair of pants. Isn't that a weird measure word? Why do we say a pair of pants?
Because you have
Two
It
legs.
has two.
Two pant
sleeves.
legs.
I have 2 arms, I don't see myself saying a pair of shirts.
No, that's because you have a pair of sleeves.
Yeah,
Just
okay, pair of pants is 1 pants, guys, I don't know. Anyway, but that's how we do it.
It's like a-
It's like a pair of socks.
These are measure words.
No, this is
We use
mine.
them from time to time in English, but we don't use them all the time in English. Guys, I need you to focus, okay? Also, you're gonna need to take notes. So please pull out your composition book or wherever it is that you want to take notes that you'll be able to find it, okay? So the thing is that in Chinese, there are certain situations where you have to use a measure word and you will always use a measure word no matter what the noun is, okay? And that is not true in English. It is true in Chinese. You always use a measure word in the following 4 contexts. If you have a number and a noun, like you're telling me about some number of nouns, 1 older brother, 2 older brothers, 3 teachers, 15 students, that's a number and a noun, you must have a measure word, okay? You're writing this down. You're writing this down because if you don't write it down, you're not gonna remember. If you have a number and a noun, you must use a measure word in between. If you have "zhe" plus a noun, "zhe" meaning this, excuse me, please do not.
No, that's what I got wrong.
Thank you. "Zhe" means this. If you have "zhe" in front of a noun, this noun, you must use a measure word. 这个人，这个学生，这个老师 must have a measure word in it. We learned another word that is functionally analogous to "zhe." Do you know what it is? Na is the right answer, right?
No.
这 means this, na means that. The only difference is where the object is in relation to you, right? But otherwise, it's basically the same word. So 这 plus a noun, you gotta have a measure word. Na plus a noun, you gotta have a measure word. And the last one is ji plus a noun, you gotta have a measure word. Ji is functionally analogous to a number and a noun, right? 一个人 means one person. 几个人 means how many people. Do you see why they're playing kind of the same role there? Right? One of them is the question, the other is the answer, but they're functionally analogous. Okay? So in all of those situations, you must use a measure word. Most of the time in your Chinese life right now, you are going to use the measure word 个. Okay? There's one exception to that. What is it?
Good.
There's only one noun that does not take the measure word 个 so far.
So far,
It's photograph. 照片, right? 照片 is a 张. So if you're saying this photograph, you say 这张照片. If you're saying that photograph, you say 那张照片. But every other noun that you guys know, right? 哥哥、弟弟、姐姐、妹妹、妈妈、爸爸、老师、学生、中国人、美国人, all of those are going to be a 个. Okay? Yeah, exactly. 一个个. Okay? All right. So, what does the yo mean when it doesn't have anything in front of it? It means there is. Okay? So my question here is 有几个学生? What does that question mean?
Student.
有几个学生?
There is a student.
What does G mean? Yeah, how many, right? There are how many students? Okay, that's the question. If the answer is 1, the answer would be 有一个学生. Okay, there is 1 student. See what I mean? So think about that. 有几个学生? The only thing I'm going to change is that G is going to turn into the answer 1. 有一个学生. Make sense? Okay. 可浩丽有几个老师?
有一个老师，
有 Use the
Your
number.
son.
Oh.
Your
有
son.
3个老师，
对，有3个老师, although you're right, based on the picture, it's 有一个老师. Okay. 最美辉有几张照片?
有
Oops, there.
有7张照片，
Exactly. 有7张照片. Yeah. OK，丁真康有几个弟弟？
I knew that was Didi,
是
little brother.
个弟弟，
Exactly， 有4个弟弟。Exactly。好，安静怡有几个姐姐？
有2个
Almost. Do you remember anything special about 2?
有
Right. 有2个姐姐. So here's the thing. Anytime you need a ge, if you're using a ge and there's 2, it has to be liang. You're never going to say our ge. You would always say liang ge. Okay? That's just a tricky one. Okay? 有那个人, here's a different question. Okay? 那个人是谁? Gao Xuefeng, what does the question mean?
This is
那个人是谁? That then
person is who?
exactly. Yeah, who is that person? Can you answer it? 那个人是谁? Answer it with a complete sentence.
就是
那个人 or 这个人.这个人是 we're looking at the baby arrow. 这个人是我的爸爸. 这个人是我的爸爸 Yeah. Okay? Or 这个人是爸爸. Okay? 本南那个人是谁? 王本南. 那个人是谁? 那个人 remember means that person. 是 is 谁? 那个人是谁? 那个人
she's
是谁? Yep.
So she's mama.
Yeah. So you're going to say the same thing. 那个人
Nagarin mama.
是
Nagarin Asher mama.
Mama. Exactly. 那个人是妈妈. Okay. 林小泽那个人是谁?
Gaga. Nagarin.
It's like the older brother in the family, no?
Gaga.
How do you say older brother? Older brother? Gogo. Okay. 那个人是哥哥 or 那个人是我哥哥 Okay. 好，潘志文那个人是谁? Mm-hmm. 那个人是我妹妹. Okay. Tell me please, now the first one up there, what's the first one up there? Duh, right?
Duh.
Which is a possessive marker. The second one is ge, general measure word. The third one is zhang, measure word for flat square stuff, right? In this sentence, what is missing? 我 blank 爸爸是老师.
Duh.
Right, 我的爸爸, right? My dad. 这 blank 人是老师. Which should be? Right, 这个人是老师 because 这 plus a noun has to have a good, right? 你有几 blank 妹妹?
你有几个妹妹?
Right, 你有几个妹妹 because 几 which means how many plus a noun 妹妹 needs to have a measure word, right? 这是我 blank 照片.
这是我的照片.
这样
哦，
这样 flat. So it's a
What do you
photograph.
think that sentence means to say?
哦，就
This is your
This is my photograph.
photographs are typically flat, so it would be
这是
down.
我的照片. Do we need a measure word there? No, because is this one of the 4 contexts that I gave you? No. If you're saying it's mine, there's no measure word. okay? 这是我的照片. Okay, so that's measure words. Now we talk about question words, and we were just using them a little bit, but I want to just like articulate to you exactly how we use them. So we have 4 question words that we're kind of using. Some of you already started using na, meaning which, right? Like 你是哪国人, which country person. It's the same na. It's like the na that we learned that means that, right? That and this and which. Can you see how those are all kind of analogous to each other? So you just add that mouth radical on there and it becomes na, which, okay? Shay, we started using last time, right? Shay means who? G, I just talked to you about. It means how many. And notice it is spelled J-I, but how is it pronounced? It is pronounced like the letter G, people, okay? G, how many? And the last one is 什么, which we learned in lesson 1, meaning what, right? So these are the question words that we're going to be using in this lesson. Na, which, 谁, who, G, how many, and 什么, what.